Hey, word on the street is your binoculars are from 1976. Do you want some cool ones from Vortex? Yeah, you do. Like, comment, subscribe. We're giving them away every single month of the season. So if you like, comment, and subscribe, you're entered. Who doesn't like free stuff?
Trail camera study, September results. Guys, this is a big deal. So I started doing this a couple years ago. I never really heard anybody talk about this. Let's just face the facts. We love trail cameras. I'm borderline embarrassed to tell you guys how many trail cameras I'm running. Dozens, okay? Dozens. Even knowing what I know about trail cameras and the percentage of deer that actually cross them versus are in the woods, and we've logged a lot of this, and now I'm doing it again, so I'm gonna give you the background there, guys. It's insane. So like, if I'm running in dozens and dozens of cameras, I can't help but to be sitting on the couch and say, man, they aren't out there. They blah, 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 like these deer ain't moving, blah, 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 okay? Well, first and foremost, if you're hunting like that, guys, and you haven't gone out in season and taken one day to go blow up your property, blow up the public land, and go physically see what's happening, you're screwing yourself. You're never going to learn a damn thing, and you don't have woodsmanship. I understand this younger generation, older generation, it's easy to get reliant on technology because you can park your ass on the couch and not go out and do any work. And a lot of times you can kill deer based off the trail cameras. Don't get me wrong. But what you need to realize, one, about these trail cameras is that it already happened. And a deer is likely to not do the same thing the next day. Like if you got it on a corn pile, sure. You got it on the right scrape and you get a good rainstorm, sure. Like it could happen. But what it comes down to, guys, is a lot of these deer are not on trail camera. And so many of them go unnoticed, at least for a while. So the first time you get a buck on camera, most likely it's not the first day he's been on your property. And at least if you went out and you did some in-season scouting, you'd be able to see what the sign is doing and probably figure it out, maybe move that trail camera, or even just hunt and see him on the hoof, and which is what we do. So a couple years ago, we did a trail camera study over the course of an entire year, guys. We ran 20 trail cameras on 100 acres. That's a camera every 5 acres. That's a lot of cameras, right? We did it for the purpose of seeing how many deer crossed the camera versus how many deer we saw on a sit in which we sat over and could physically see trail cameras. Throughout the entire course of a season in Missouri, it was a world-class property. You guys have seen some of our footage from there. Over the course of the entire season, guys, what it came down to, take a guess in your head. What percentage of deer do you think were crossing the trail cameras? Some of you watched my videos before, some of you have not. What it came down to after an entire season of paying attention, and I'm talking the best scrapes on the property, I'm talking food plots, I'm talking a manicured property, and a guy who should know where to put them because he designs properties for a living. And maybe I'm throwing some shade at myself here, but the reality is when you run 20 of them, you should get lucky, right? What it came down to, 3 to 5% of the deer were actually crossing the trail camera that we saw in those given hunts. I think it was opening day of gun season. You go watch my one of my gun buck hunts for Missouri. I'm pretty sure I said we sat within bow range of the best scrape on the property. It's the first scrape outside the bedroom. I talk about that often, guys. We saw 20 deer in bow range, 30 deer in the timber that morning. 0 deer across the camera that morning, and I'm pretty sure we probably saw some really good bucks. Don't know if we saw a shooter, but it was like the aha moment, like, oh man, guys, like there's nothing wrong with cameras, but don't bank on them. Okay, so we decided to further this investigation, this study, into every month of this season. I'm gonna try and keep up on it and give you the statistics again. Instead of going over the entire course of an entire season, maybe there's times of the year in which you can trust them a little bit more, a little bit less. So from a handful of sits this year, guys, in Wisconsin, and this is including sitting in the timber, sitting on food plots, sitting on agriculture, all the above, guys, we once again found ourselves at only 3% of the deer were crossing trail cameras on the given hunts in which I could sit and see 1, if not 2 trail cameras, okay? And some of these properties are properties like I own, guys. So like I know how the deer are moving, so I know where to put the trail camera. I've seen it. Sometimes that's still not enough. So after another month, guys, of tracking this data, guys, 3%. 3%. So you're sitting on the couch waiting for 3%. You're getting 3% of what's actually going on out there. Doesn't mean you're not gonna ever get them, but it might. But you're not getting him consistently. You're not getting him every time. So when you say he disappeared for 5 days, and you in reality think about your trail camera covering 1/16th to a 32nd of an acre on your 40-acre property, do the math as to what percentage or fraction of the property is actually being covered or has eyes on it at all times. And I love the Tact cams. Those are the cameras of choice that I use. But some of these other cameras, guys, I've sat and I've watched deer walk in front of them and they don't go off. And I think every brand is probably guilty of that. So now you have that scenario, and here you are sitting on the couch, trusting them. Go out, scout it out one day, every season, blow it up, learn what's going on, use woodsmanship, kill deer that way, guys. If I had to give you any information at the end of this video, I mean, once again, we're sitting around 3%. And, you know, after really logging all this stuff. But if I had to give you any information, guys, or any quick tips, guys, don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. You think you're doing harm by going out there and walking through everything? You're not. Not one day. Okay? Because it's going to give you more information than you would have ever had, which worst case scenario helps you for future seasons in which you can go and track these bucks down and get them killed in the future if you just happen to push the other buck out of the county. And by the way, they generally come back. I had a spot where we pushed a buck out of a buck bed 3 out of 4 days in a row. And I kept walking there because I was like, oh, he ain't coming back. And eventually we killed him like on the 3rd or 4th day. But at the end of the day, guys, don't trust your trail cameras. Use them as a tool. 3%. 3%. 3%.